Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Sunday. Welcome back. I hope you are having a fantastic weekend. I have 4 candles that I'm going to be reviewing for you guys in this video. Typically, I like to do my candle reviews individually. However, these 4 came in a set. These candles are from a company called Bellevue, and I actually purchased this, I guess you could say, quad of candles at my local Costco store for $19.99. So each of these candles, you know, if you break it down, are roughly about $5 each. So I wanted to review them as a set and just kind of let you guys know what my thoughts are on these and whether I thought they were worth investing in, either for someone who just personally really enjoys candles, or how they were in terms of, you know, if you're looking for gift ideas. Obviously, the holiday season is fast approaching. I hate to even bring it up because I know some people are super sensitive about the Christmas creep. But moral of the story is that Halloween is almost here, and that once Halloween is over, it is a quick downhill slide into Christmas. And if you haven't started thinking about things like teacher gifts or gifts, you know, gift exchanges that you might do with girlfriends, honestly, now's the time to start thinking about that. Just avoid the stress of it altogether. And one of my favorite personal ways to put together gifts is to go to a place like Costco, where you usually purchase things in bulk that you can then break apart and create some individual gifts. And since I am a candle lover, I also like to give the gift of fragrance. Don't get me wrong, my friends usually have free range to come look at my candle collection anytime that they want. And if there is something that I am willing to part with, I am happy to let them walk off with a candle or two. But I also just think it's fun to give gifts like this, right? Like something like this I would pair with maybe like a fun coffee cup with, you know, some hot chocolate and maybe some marshmallows packaged inside. I sometimes would just give something like this. Or maybe you could pair it with like a couple of fun lip balms, you know, just something like small. If you're looking for a price point for a gift that's somewhere between like $5 to $15, something like this would be great. Because here's the thing, while the quality of these is not the very best, I really do think the quality is nice enough to gift to somebody. So with that being said, I will go ahead and review each of these fragrances. I have been burning them now for the last week. I've been burning them typically for about 3 hours at a time. And what I will say is they are a more slow burning type of candle. The one thing I did not look up, and let me just see if I can see it on the bottom of this one, is the type of wax that we have here. No, it doesn't say, but I'm going to guess that this is some kind of a soy wax. What I will tell you right now is that these have a very clean burn to them. And I love the look of them. By the way, these are the lids. They come with a nice gold metal lid. It definitely suctions onto the top really nicely. So I think the packaging overall in terms of presentation is kind of perfect. Especially as, you know, maybe just a fun extra to toss into a gift bag or something like that. But yeah, just in terms of the way these look and the way that they perform, I'm actually quite impressed based on the price point per candle. So I want to start with Vetiver Birchwood, which honestly I thought was going to be my least favorite out of this set. It ends up being one of my favorites, actually. Usually I'm not a huge fan of vetiver. If it's, you know, minimal in a fragrance or in like a home fragrance product, I can handle it. but it's not actually my favorite type of note, but I feel like it's done really well in here, and I think it just blends so well with some of the other notes. So anyway, let's discuss the notes. So Vetiver and Birchwood. So on the front of each of these candles, you do get a few fragrance notes that are mentioned. And obviously on here, we are looking at allspice, leaves, and white birch. But on the box itself, there are the top, middle, and base notes actually listed. So let's go ahead and run through them. So in terms of essential oils, the essential oils that are included in the Vetiver Birchwood are clove, patchouli, and orange. Please don't let that patchouli scare you off. It's a really nice patchouli, actually. It's not the dirty hippie kind. Your top notes here are fir needle and clove leaf. The mid and base notes read fresh vetiver and golden amber. So what do you really get from this one? So this one here comes across as definitely a slightly more masculine type of scent, but I feel like the mix of the patchouli with the amber here are such a beautiful combination. You do get a little bit of like woodiness from this for sure, but it's not like exclusively a woody fragrance. The clove is really well done. This is not an overly spicy scent at all. And I love the addition of the fir needle. You do get just a touch of that holiday tree note in here as well, and a little bit of brightness from that orange. With this particular one, I feel like all of the fragrance notes that are mentioned are put in here like in equal parts, if that makes sense. Like one note doesn't like take over any of the others. It just kind of takes you through a little bit of like a fragrance, I mean, to borrow like a Harry Slatkin term, like a fragrance story. You really start out with a little bit more of that like patchouli and that clove. Then you go into the amber, then a touch of that orange. And then I feel like what finishes this is the vetiver. And I really like this one, you guys. Really, truly, when I was smelling this in store on Cold Sniff, I was like, okay, well, it's not bad, but I don't think I'm gonna like it that much. I love it. I love this scent. Once this is lit and it warms up, it develops into just a beautiful, slightly more masculine, but also just really unique holiday type scent. I do think this one has a holiday vibe to it, but I also feel like it's the type of scent that could take you from, you know, say the December, like full on Christmas mode into that like January winter type vibe for sure. So that is the Vetiver Birchwood, and turns out she's really good. Okay, next we are going to go into the Berry Clementine, which is just off to the side there. Now, on the front of the Berry Clementine, you're going to read the fragrance notes of cranberry, mandarin zest, and tonka. And the fragrance notes on this one, the essential oils used are orange, clove, and cinnamon. The top notes are clementine and lemon. The mid and base notes are ripe berries and white musk. So what do you smell in this one? This one really is, it's kind of an interesting take on a cranberry. I actually wish there was just a touch more of that berry note in here. I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily coming across as cranberry. It's kind of maybe coming across as like a cranberry and maybe a like raspberry type mix. It's definitely a sweeter berry note for sure, but it's not pure cranberry. I definitely don't get pure cranberry. I love that clementine in here and that orange note as well. I think both of those together are what are giving off that like mandarin zest type vibe. The citrus, I think, is a nice pairing with the berry note for sure. Love the cinnamon and the clove in here because they don't overpower the fruit notes. I think a lot of times it's really easy for holiday candles to get overly spicy, but what I like about this whole set is that it's not all like spice. Like everything is just really nicely balanced. In terms of that white musk note in this one, there is something that is just a touch, I would say, not necessarily musky, but maybe a little bit powdery regarding this berry clementine. Yeah, it's almost like there's like a touch of maybe like a powdered sugar type note almost. This is a sweeter berry citrus scent, but it's not overly sweet. Again, I think it's nicely balanced. I think pretty much everyone would enjoy a scent like this. And I think it's also another one that could take you from, say, the holidays into the winter months. All of these I think are going to be really good transitional scents as well. So even though you might be giving them for Christmas, you know, like, or right around or before Christmas, and someone might not get around to finishing this before the holidays are over, and if they're a seasonal burner, I could definitely see, and I'm specifically talking to people like me, like after the holidays are done, most of the candles that really only remind me of Christmas, like the pure tree scents, you know, like Nest Holiday, for example, stuff like that, it depresses me to continue to burn that after Christmas, because I don't know, I have that like after Christmas blues situation where I just get so bummed that the holidays are over, but you know, gotta wait another year at this point. So yeah, for me, even I could burn all 4 of these like into January and not necessarily have them just remind me of the holidays, if that makes sense. Okay, so next we are going to go to, let me pull it up here on my phone. Let's do the Balsam and Cardamom. I think this one is probably maybe the most interesting to my nose. I've never had a candle where they have, at least personally, where they've paired balsam with cardamom, but I actually really kind of like this combination here. So on the front of this one, you're going to read the fragrance notes of star anise, citron peel, and cedar. But the actual essential oils that are used are juniper oil as well as lavender. The lavender kind of scared me off at first because I am not a fan of lavender. I know a lot of you are, but in home fragrance, I don't know, I just can't do it. It's way too astringent for me. And I guess here's a fun fact. I actually did not get to smell these in store. A lot of times they have testers out where you can actually stick your nose in these. My store didn't have testers. I just bought these because I was like, oh, that's a good deal. It would kind of probably make a fun video. And if these work out, they would be a great gift idea, right? So anyway, I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I picked up this box. But there is lavender in here. The top notes are fresh spruce and cardamom. The mid and base notes are red berries and balsam. So what are you smelling in here? It really is a little bit heavy on the juniper. I kind of wish there was a touch less juniper here. I do smell the lavender, but the lavender I think is mellowed out by the spruce as well as the balsam that they put in here. It just kind of takes some of that astringentness or that astringent note out of the lavender for me. In terms of the red berries, there is just a touch of like a maybe like fruity or berry type sweetness to this, but I wouldn't say like upon first sticking my nose in this that I would necessarily think, oh yeah, it smells like there's berries in here. Like I wouldn't automatically think that. This one does have the cardamom in here is really nice, but I also actually smell some of that star anise that is listed on the front. I love star anise. I always have it in my spice cabinet because I like to make glühwein with it during the holidays. And I totally smell that in here. It smells so good. So I think this one, actually, despite thinking that I wasn't going to enjoy it, it was another one that really surprised me. I love the balsam and cardamom in the bathroom. I actually have this in our downstairs guest bathroom and it's fabulous. We'll talk strength and throw because they're actually quite consistent. So we'll get to that after we finish the last review. Okay, so you guys, the toasted vanilla, I really thought that ultimately the toasted vanilla was going to be my favorite. And guess what? It's actually my least favorite out of the three. Not that it's not a good vanilla, but it just wasn't what I expected it to be. So the toasted vanilla, the fragrance notes on the front read raw sugar, cream, and vanilla bean. To me, that is the epitome of like the perfect basic vanilla scent. I was so excited for this one. So the essential oils used here are orange. The top notes are creme frosting and orange zest. The mid and base notes are vanilla bean and coconut milk. Honestly, this one smells kind of strange to my nose. It really does come across as kind of, it's interesting because you do get the vanilla, but something about the vanilla doesn't smell quite right to me. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's that the frosting doesn't come across as maybe super authentic. And that might be what's throwing the whole thing off for me. I do get a touch of that orange in here for sure. So that, you know, reference to the orange zest. You do smell some of that orange zest for sure. And you do get a creaminess from this. So that coconut milk makes sense. I don't know what it is about this one. It does smell like a vanilla based scent, but I think it's not quite sweet enough for my liking. And it's a little too, what is the word that I'm looking for? It doesn't smell warm enough to my nose. You know how, so warm vanilla sugar from Bath and Body Works, that has like a really beautiful like underlying warm sweetness to it, and that's just not present here. I think if it had a little bit more of like that warm sweetness like running underneath everything, I think I would enjoy this one way more. I don't think it's a terrible scent, and I think most people who don't enjoy super sweet fragrances will actually like this toasted vanilla. If you find that a lot of vanilla scents are kind of overly sweet to you normally, I think you might actually really like this one. So yeah. All right, you guys. So those are just kind of my thoughts on the fragrances themselves. They smell fairly similar from cold sniff to when they are like burning. You know, the fragrance doesn't really change a whole lot, except I think in the case of the Vetiver Birchwood, I think that warmth made the fragrance a lot more just enjoyable for me personally. But these are four great, I think, pretty universal scents. The strength and throw. So let's talk about that. First of all, these are 2-wick candles. I believe that this is some type of soy. I'm going to give you guys just an overhead view here really quickly so you can kind of see how they've each been burning. A couple of them did have some issues pulling out completely, and you can kind of see that here. Some of them just didn't want to pull out all the way, but as they're burning down, I do notice that this is starting to melt and it kind of is sliding down along with the candle as it burns. You can actually see that kind of happening with this one. You see it's liquefying over there finally, so that will be sliding down, and then this side, once this warms up a little bit more, that should also do that. I would say the one that has like had the least issue pulling out completely is the Balsam Cardamom. So that was a pretty good one. And this one just has a little bit of wax on the side. So, but look at how clean this wax still is. I'm not quite at the halfway point with these, but I do think that I am definitely far enough in to have, you know, burned them long enough to see if there's like any major problems. I don't anticipate any issues with these. They seem to be burning really well. I trim the wicks ever so slightly between each burn. They get like a really small type of mushroom top. You don't want to trim off too much on these wicks. I think that that could give you like a drowning wick issue pretty quickly for sure. If you're wondering if these fit into a candle crock, They do. I haven't put any of them into a crock. I'm kind of enjoying burning them. I also think the presentation of them is really pretty. It's kind of a, like, the bottom of the glass is slightly rounded. So I think they have kind of a nice, unique, elegant look to them. Also, the glass is really thick. So these are not the type of candles that I feel like you have to put into a like a hurricane. I think they retain enough heat with just the thickness of the glass to, you know, to have them perform pretty darn good. Again, overall, I think for $5 per candle, these are, they're a pretty good deal. Strength and throw, if I'm going to put a number on that, across the board, I would give them a strength of about, I would say an average of 5. But again, we're looking at $5 candles here. So in terms of being a good bedroom candle, yes. In terms of being a good candle to pop into either a bathroom or a guest bath, absolutely. I think they're perfect for that. But if you are looking for these to fill like a very large room with super high ceilings, I don't think you're just going to achieve that with one of these. I think if you had a couple of them in the room and paired them together, by the way, any combination of 2 of these has been great. I have definitely paired a couple of them together in a room. Certainly fills the space a lot more. So yeah, I don't know, you guys, I'm gonna give these 2 thumbs up. Again, for the price point, for the fragrance blends themselves, for how clean the burn is and how they're not sooting at all, these are giving a great performance. So I think it's just a matter of, you know, whether you want to try these yourself or whether you're looking for an easy, inexpensive gift idea. Like, stuff like this is perfect to get. I don't know, I don't give my mailman presents. Some people out there do, but if you're looking for a present for your mailman or for your kid's teacher, this is a great way to approach that at a, I would say, very affordable price point. Again, this in just a cute little gift bag with some tissue paper, nice little bow. I think you will give a gift that is very appreciated. So anyway, I hope this review was helpful. I know it was a little bit longer, but hopefully you guys found these interesting. I think I'm gonna keep an eye out for other candles from Bellevue that pop up at Costco over the next year. I've always kind of skipped over these, but I don't know. I feel like the quality of these is good, and it definitely encourages me to want to try a little bit more from them. If you have any experience with Bellevue candles from Costco, or if you have maybe purchased these at another retailer, or you know more about the company, definitely leave your knowledge in the comments down below. Again, I haven't really read up much on the company. I don't know, you know, where else these candles are sold, but the price point at Costco was right, so I bet. Anyway, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.